Training splits do two things. You're going to make sure that you're training the muscle with enough frequency to see the changes that you want to see. And two, they're going to allow you to recover well enough for you to train that muscle group again. So when picking a training split, it's important that you pick one that, especially on the beginning of your fitness journey, you want to make sure you pick one that's pretty simple to follow. So there are 3 training splits that most people do. And as you get more experience, more condition, then you can make some changes to it and make it adapt to what you need at the time. Training splits that are very common. You have your upper lower, you have your push-pull legs, or you have your total body. Now, it's widely known that you should be training each muscle group at least twice a week. So on an upper lower split, what you'll see is you're gonna work upper one day, lower the next day, right? And just kind of alternate between the two. And this kind of split can be done 4 to 6 times a week, right? So you're gonna train 4 to 6 times a week if you're gonna do two of each, or 6 if you're gonna do 3 of each. Then you're gonna have your push-pull legs, which has to be done 6 days a week. So if you're gonna train on a push-pull legs, because you have to hit each muscle group twice a week, push one day, pull one day, legs one day, that's 3. Then rinse and repeat. I would always say you need 1 day off of rest. So push-pull legs is gonna be 6, or your full body. Full body is minimum 2 up to 6. And what this is you train every muscle in your body every day for 6 days, for 2 to 6 days. Now, if you're gonna go 6, each day is gonna be a little less intense than if you train 2, because, like I said, a good training split is one it's gonna hit the muscles with enough frequency, but it's also gonna give you enough time to recover. Now, there are upsides to doing the push-pull legs, which are if you're gonna take out 2 bigger muscle groups from the upper lower day and split those out, then you can hammer each muscle hard, right? So if you're gonna do a push, then you're gonna hammer chest, shoulders, tries really hard, because you don't have to worry about back on that day. And then on that day or pull day, you're gonna hammer back, rear delts, and biceps hard. And you don't have to worry about your chest, shoulders, and tries on that day. So you get to hammer those really hard. Same thing with legs. You get to hammer legs really hard. The only real downside that I see with a push-pull legs, there's no way to scale that, right? So where up or lower, you can scale from 4 to 6. With a push-pull legs, only 6 days a week work. Another point with push-pull legs that I would have to state is that is a downfall. It's when you do back or your pull day and your push day, biceps are going to recover pretty fast. So will triceps, they recover pretty fast. So you can probably hit those muscle groups more than twice a week each. And if you're doing just a push-pull legs, you're only going to be basing those days on the push-to-pull day. So biceps only go with your pull day. Triceps only go with your push day. So those smaller muscle groups will only get hit twice a week, even though they may recover to a point where you can get them 3 times a week. So if you're not going to dedicate 6 days to your training, a push-pull legs is not a training program that I would recommend for you. Now, the last training split that I want to talk about is your full body, your total body. And that is probably the most scalable split that you can have, right? That can work from anywhere from 2 days a week to 6 days a week, depending on how much you want to put into it. So on the upside to it is you can like really pump up the frequency, right? So instead of doing 2 days, you can do 6 days of shoulders, you can do 6 days of chest, you can do whatever. You can pump up the frequency as you need it. So the downsides to a full body split would be that it can lead to overdoing it, right? Fatigue, and typically at the joints, your joints may hurt a little bit more if you're training hard or training every day. It's gonna require you to use more things when you go inside the gym versus if you're doing like a push-pull legs, you know you're only gonna use 3 machines, or upper lower, you know you're gonna use 3 or 4 machines for that day. If you're doing total body, you're probably gonna have to use a machine for every muscle group that you're gonna train that day. So it's gonna require you to use more machines. And that may be tedious, especially if you're in a gym that upper body stuff is on one floor, lower body stuff is on one floor or on one side of the gym, and having to go back and forth. So the last thing is, it really can be confusing as to, all right, today, what do I train, right? So if you are doing it, especially on a more advanced level, what muscle group are you going to train today, right? You have to start to think about it, and there's no symmetry to it really if you're going to do more advanced. The more advanced form of a full body is you can work 6 days a week, but every day you're only going to train the muscles that aren't sore, right? So this gives you the opportunity to train the muscles that have recovered and pump up the volume on those muscle groups, and gives you a little bit more rest on the muscle groups that haven't recovered yet. But those are the splits. Those are things that you'd want to have to think about. But the one thing I'd probably highlight to you guys is really minimum 2 days is the absolute bare minimum that you should be looking to train per week. And if you're not looking to do that, 1, you're not training hard. 2, you're not on a training split that's gonna really amount to anything. And 3, you won't see the results that you want. So make sure that whatever training split you're gonna come up with whenever you decide what you want to do, whether it be 2 days, 4 days, 6 days, what training split is going to best help you get the result that you want, which training split is going to best help you recover and train the muscles with the frequency that you need. So here's how I think you may want to choose what you start with. So beginners, you're going to start off with full body, whole body, 2 to 4 times a week. That's great to start with. As you get some more experience, you want to consider going to a upper lower split, right? As you get more experience from there, you may want to think of going into a push-pull legs, and that's if you want to hit more volume and load to grow the muscles, right? And then once you get more experience from there, you want to make sure that you try a advanced version of a full body training, which is you train what's ready to train on every given day, doing that up to 6 days a week. And then the last thing, where a lot of like professionals that are in the physique space, they're considering doing 2-a-days, right? And you want to make sure that you've built up enough experience to get to that, because it's not for everyone, right, to do 2-a-days. Um, so, Coach, you're here. Tell them about what you're gonna do. Actions, the leadership, for a trainer.